Hi everyone, my name is Alex Jones and I am an occupational therapy student here at the American Stroke Foundation. Today we're going to be talking about home improvement, and not the funny TV show with Tim Allen, but ways that you can make improvements on your own home and different modifications that can increase safety and participation in your daily activities after experiencing a stroke or even with aging. What are some reasons that we would make modifications to a home? First, they play a large role in reducing fall risks. They allow for aging in place, and they also can increase participation in daily activities. Making modifications may seem overwhelming, costly, or time-consuming, but it doesn't have to be that way. We will talk about some easy and affordable ways that you can modify your home so that you are able to live freely and safely in your own house. We'll first start talking about modifications to the bathroom. The bathroom is a common space for falls or accidents, and this room also requires a lot of transfers in a pretty small space. While there are some big modifications you can do, like replacing your shower, etc., we will just go over some smaller, more inexpensive changes that you can make to improve the way that you do everyday tasks in the bathroom. Adding rails and grab bars in a bathroom is one of the most common modifications to make after an injury or with aging. Unfortunately, there aren't very cheap or easy ways to do this because you want them done correctly to prevent injury and make sure that you're safe. But they aren't that expensive. I did a price check, so I have at Home Depot, you can get them for $20 to $35 range, or at Walmart, you can get them for $18 to about $43, depending on the type. One thing that you want to make sure is that you install them in the stud in the wall, but not using suction cups, again, for safety purposes. But it would be good to reach out to an occupational therapist or anyone that's good or handy with those types of additions before installing them. Another helpful modification in the bathroom is adding a tub seat or a tub chair or a transfer bench into your shower or tub. These can assist with transfers into and out of the bathtub. They're helpful for transferring out of a wheelchair or anyone with limited mobility. Tub chairs are also helpful to conserve energy while taking a shower, or they can help with anyone who has limited mobility or can't stand for a long time while they're in the shower. Again, these are a pretty inexpensive purchase to make. At some common stores like Walmart or Amazon, they range from about $25 to $50, but there are also some organizations that repurpose any adaptive equipment, so you could check those out, and they usually sell them at a discounted rate. I've also seen these at a lot of secondhand stores, so if they are cleaned up properly and still safe to use, then those could be a good option as well. Your removable shower head is a really great low-cost option to add to your bathroom. It can make washing your hair, lower body, and your back a lot easier, especially if you have limited movement in your upper extremities. They can also be helpful for anyone who showers while sitting in a shower chair or bench, and they're also helpful for caregivers that assist in showering. Another price check I did at Amazon and Walmart, they're pretty similar. It ranges from about $17 to $45. But there are lots of different types and styles that can fit your needs. Soap dispensers and toothpaste lids are those modifications that I think are really simple changes, but often overlooked in everyday life. Soap dispensers are easy because they just require one hand to pump rather than using a bar soap or a squeeze tube of soap. Similarly, toothpaste containers that have a flip lid, like the photo shown here, are more efficient sometimes than twist-off lids, especially with limited hand mobility or if you only have use of one of your arms. Now we'll move on to the kitchen. The kitchen is a very active place in the home, especially if you enjoy cooking and cleaning. There are many functional and adaptive changes that you can make in this room to increase your participation in these desired activities. The first modification has to do with storage and access to items in the kitchen. An open shelf option or having lower level storage could be good. That makes items easy to reach, and spaces are much safer and efficient when working in the kitchen, especially if you have limited mobility or use a wheelchair. Another modification can be keeping your necessary or more commonly used items in plain sight. This can be helpful if you have any vision problems, memory difficulties, and again, it's a lot safer if you have limited mobility. Modifying the faucet on your sink can be used in the kitchen or the bathroom. Using a lever handle or even installing a touch-sensitive faucet can be a lot easier and efficient to use if you're one-handed or have limited hand function, as opposed to knob handles or the two-sided handles. If you're unable to reach your sink faucet, you can attach pieces of piping that can increase the length of those handles for a pretty inexpensive option. Additionally, there are faucet extenders that increase the distance of water from the faucet, which makes it easier to wash your hands when you're cooking, to rinse off fruits or vegetables, or to brush your teeth if you're in the bathroom. There's an image of a homemade one. It's the bottom picture here. Someone made that one out of an empty shampoo bottle, but you can also buy them on Amazon for $8 to $10. The lever faucet, like the middle photo there, you can get them on Amazon or at a hardware store. They usually range about $35 or more. Adding a lower level work table or an island or some sort of station to use can be helpful for individuals using a wheelchair or those that need to sit for energy conservation while they're completing kitchen tasks. This can be like a basic card table, or you can purchase a more durable prep kitchen table like the one on the left here. This can help people who have a hard time standing up when doing activities in the kitchen. It can help them conserve some energy and still participate in those cooking and cleaning tasks. There are lots of adaptive utensils that you can try out while you're cooking, cleaning, or even eating. But some of them you may already have in your kitchen and didn't realize they were adaptive. Starting in the bottom left corner is a food dicer or food chopper. These can be found on Amazon or at most grocery stores. At Amazon, I found that they range about $20 or more. But those are a great option to chop up some foods like onions or tomatoes, and it just requires one hand. A garlic press, like the bottom right picture here, is a pretty good one-handed way to dice up some garlic, and those can be found on Amazon for about $6. I also found some adaptive cutting boards, like the top two pictures. So the one on the left is a gripper cutting board. So you place the food in the middle there, and it allows for the knife to go through pretty easily. I found that online for about $13. And then the one on the right, you can purchase that cutting board for about $15 to $20 online, but it also seems pretty easy to make. You just have your cutting board and a nail coming through it. So you stick the food that you want to cut in the middle of the two nails there, and you can just cut, and it gives you some stability. There are also some adaptive knives that you can find online for pretty cheap as well to help with one-handed cutting tasks. Now moving on to the bedroom. We've used the bathroom, we've made our food, now it's time for a nap. While we may not spend as much time in our bedrooms during the day, there are many important occupations that we participate in, such as sleep and dressing. Being able to safely access your bed and clothing are important for increasing independence in daily life. The first modification you can do in your bedroom is adding bed rails to the side of your bed. These are helpful for repositioning in bed and when you're transferring in and out of the bed, especially if you have limited or lack of mobility on one side. I did a price check on this adaptive tool, and at Walmart they can be found for about $30. Amazon, they're about $30 to $50. Again, you'll want to make sure that it's sturdy enough and speak with your occupational therapist to make sure that you're purchasing a safe option for you. There are a few ways that you can change how you're storing your clothes to make it more accessible and make getting dressed a little more independent for you. So either having your clothes hanging on a rack in your closet, or purchasing a lower level rack, or even adding a lower rack in your closet so you can reach it while sitting down or from a wheelchair, can be a lot easier than using a dresser, higher shelving units, or a wardrobe. Adding rug grippers to the bottom of your rug or bath mats can be an important addition to prevent any sliding or falling, especially when having limited mobility when walking, using a walker, or in a wheelchair. Using a nightlight may be a strategy that you already have and didn't realize that it was adaptive. If you wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom or for another reason, turning on a bright light can make it difficult to fall back asleep. But leaving the lights off and just trying to navigate through the room without light can be very dangerous, especially if you have limited mobility or any vision issues. Buying and installing a nightlight in the room can help provide guidance to when you need to go somewhere in the dark. A doorknob extender can be added to your doorknobs that may be more difficult to open rather than handles, and they're also easier to install rather than replacing all of the doorknobs in your house. As you can see in the pictures there, it just creates sort of a lever that you can push down on your hand, or you can add a loop to the bottom of it that you can stick your hand in, using more of your wrist to open the door than your hand. These are also pretty inexpensive. I found on Amazon you can get a 2-pack for $20. So those could be good for adding to the bathroom or the bedroom, or places where you might be alone but need to make sure you're able to get out safely. While that was a lot of information, that just scratched the surface of all of the modifications that you can make in your home to make it more accessible. Make sure to consult an occupational therapist if you have any specific concerns about your home or a modification that you're wanting to make. Everyone's home and everyone's needs are different, so what I just listed here may not work for you, but there are many options and ways of completing modifications. Creativity and resourcefulness can go a long way. And safety is key when completing home modifications, so if cost is a concern, you still want to make sure that you are completing these modifications as safely as possible. Thank you all for watching, and I hope that maybe these gave you some new ideas of ways that you can live safer and more active lives in your home.